So this is my not really review of the JDS Labs Atom amplifier. It's become relatively famous over the past couple of months, basically because it competes really well with a lot of other high-end amplifiers. And I was really intrigued with this because I looked at the measurements and it's perfectly flat. It's got a very good telematic distortion noise and SINAD and all that stuff, and it's really, really good. And even when you compare it to the THX AAA technology, it competes really, really closely, especially on single-ended, which this is, obviously. So I was intrigued because it's only $100, and it competes almost directly with this thing that Massdrop just can't keep in stock, right? So I thought, well, let's go ahead and try out the JDS Labs Atom, because I like the Asgard too. It's a nice warm sound, but let's try something that's super, super clean, because this is kind of tube-like and kind of warm and rolled off, and sure enough, when I tried it, I really, really liked it. It was, when I got it, it was clean, I don't know what else to say, and generally speaking, there's more bass to it. There's a little more, I don't want to say sparkle in the highs and all that stuff, but generally speaking, this is a very, very polarizing comparison, because this is almost tube-like. It rolls off bass a bit and rolls off highs a bit, and it just makes it kind of warm in the mids, which is interesting. Whereas this is just way more true, and I think I like this sound better. And it consumes 8 times less power. The thing is, you're seeing I got 2 of them here. No, I'm not a special reviewer. I buy these things. I said to them, and JDS Labs is really, really good at their customer service. I said to them, I think my unit is defective, because when I go up and I set my volume, it just seems to be louder in the right channel than the left, all the way through the volume knob to right about here. Let's see. I think you can see where that is. Maybe you can see where it is. Sorry, just had to make sure. Right around the last 25% or so, it starts to become actually balanced. Otherwise, the right channel is perpetually louder than the left. I found this out by listening to some mono tracks. And they said to me, well, it's kind of normal for volume to be imbalanced right around here. And I said, well, yeah, that's obvious. This kind of happens to this right around here at the very bottom of it. But this isn't the case for this amplifier. It's all the way through right to about near maximum. At that point, I have to turn the DAC down digitally to be able to listen at that volume. So they said, oh, that's not right. Yeah, we'll send you another one. I get the other one today. It has the exact same problem. Oh my lord, that's the first time I've heard it do that. Do they both do that? What the hell is that? Something's... Okay, well, I didn't know it did that. There's something loose in here. And it's stuck in place again. That's not a good sign. Okay, so as you can see, quality assurance not too great. I'm sorry. I really, really like this amplifier, and I like that it's only $99, but it has that issue of where, besides what just happened there, the volume pot, that's not scripted. I don't know what happened there. Anyways, it has this issue where the volume pot is imbalanced, so you have to go all the way up to here, near here-ish, and then the right and left become balanced. And I don't know how nobody's noticed this. Maybe I just am really unlucky that even the second one was defective as well. But essentially what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking apart one of these, taking out the volume potentiometer, and seeing, seeing what the resistance is, seeing how imbalanced it is. I've done measurements, crude measurements, just voltage measurements. And it's a significant channel imbalance. It is a lot louder on the right. Well, there's quite a significant amount of higher millivolts. Sometimes I think the difference was 70 millivolts at certain points, which is quite significant, especially down low. It just depends on where you are in the volume knob. And it's pretty bad. So either way, point is, I'm going to be taking apart one of these, and probably this one, because that's the new one I'm supposed to have. I do not know what that was. What was that? Does this one do that? Hold on here. We're doing it live. What was that? What was shaking around in this box? That's terrifying. Okay, point is, we're going to be taking apart one of these. Let's get to it. We're going to go see what's wrong with the volume knob. And then we're also going to bridge it over. I'm actually going to remove the volume knob and the power option. So it'll just be constantly on. This will do nothing, and it'll just be a straight wire, so to speak, of an amplifier. So it'll just be constantly at max, and see if I can see if the channel imbalance goes away. And I'm pretty sure it will, because it's basically the volume knob that makes this problem happen. All right, I'll get back to you. Yeah, I know, my desk is a little bit dirty. I've gotten one comment on that the desk was dirty and I should clean it. And yeah, I already knew that. I'm going to paint the desk eventually. I haven't gotten to it. I'm going to paint it a nice white. If you think of a different color, I should paint this desk. I was thinking on black, but like we get a lot of products that are, technically everything always ends up being black. So I think I'm going to make it a white desk so that it's nice contrast. Anyway, besides the point. What I was going to do was take this apart. So, I have no idea how to take this apart. All I know is that, like every other company, they're probably hiding something under the feet. Yeah, okay. They're hiding some screws under the feet. But the thing is, it is plastic, right? There's no other indication of screws. So I doubt that the screws actually go. They might go into the top of the plastic here. Kind of doubt it, though. They've probably just clipped it in place, if I had to guess. Like this, yeah. So that plastic looks like it's just sort of coming out. I'm going to see if it's like clipped in. If I can't pry on it, then I'm going to unscrew those and see what happens. So let's see here. We've got some screwdriver. Where's all my screwdrivers? So let's go ahead and I'm just going to start prying a little bit. Just start going for it. And if it doesn't seem like it wants to come up, then I'm going to assume that I need to take these screws out. So let's take the screws out, because it doesn't look like it's unclipping anytime soon. So we'll go ahead and take those out. And it looks like they've used a security screw. Okay, no problem. We can get around that. Security screws are no problem. I don't know why they used a plastic shell. Maybe, I guess they were just cutting corners on the price, but like, I don't know, the Objective 2 was $100. And this is basically just like a weird clone of an Objective 2, so I don't know how they've like managed to be like, well, we can't cut the price to be like, I would be fine. I mean, if this was $120, I know they like that $99.99 kind of thing, because it looks nice, but like if this was $120 and you got a metal case, that would be a lot nicer. And if it had a working volume pot, that would be real nice too. Okay, that looks like it'll work. Let's go ahead and take those screws out. Ooh, a little squeaky. I think we did have plastic in there. Maybe it's just the board. I don't know. We shall see. I'll do a tear down. See what we get. I'm assuming that it's probably just the plastic on the top that needs to be taken apart. Yeah, okay, so there you go. It really was screwed in. I thought it would be clipped in. So what are these on the side here? What are those? What are those? Hold on there. Are you seeing these? What are these? Oh, let me turn off autofocus, because Rebels don't have that. Is that a weight? Are they putting weights, like little concrete weights in here? What the hell? I think it is. I think they've put weights in here to make it seem like it's heftier than it really is. That's interesting. There's a lot of empty space on this board that I'm seeing too. So it's got a very Objective 2 feel, doesn't it? It's got that empty space where they put the ODAC kind of look. Yeah. Take a look at the volume pot. That's what we're going to do here today. We're going to desolder that volume pot, see what we can do. So it looks like the whole thing comes out in a tray like that. Very clever. So I'm guessing there's a nut on the front, maybe? No? That looks like it's just sort of... So I'm wondering how they put in the clip, because here you got there's our white LEDs that just shine forward, I guess, onto there. That's interesting. And then we have, this just rocks back and forth. I'm guessing that it looks like there's a little clip here that this back end pushes out. This could take me a minute, hold on. Does that look like it's moving? Not really. What's going on? How do they expect me to take this out? How did they put it in? So it looks like they've put this here. How did they get that in? I don't want to break it. I would prefer not to break it. Interesting. Oh, it looks like it wants to come out. Right like that. Okay, so it's like glued in. That's kind of gross. It's glued in. What is this, Apple? Okay, it's kind of glued in there. It's not great. And that's what holds it in. Okay, not great, not great. So that's glued in. And then the board just sort of flops out here, I'm assuming. I don't know what else would be holding it in. What are we holding in by? Not a whole lot. Oh, there we go. A capacitor, maybe? Oh, there's a little bit of glue. They put a little bit of hot glue on there to keep it in place. Okay, there's our potentiometer. I'm going to measure that. Interesting. So, there's our case. Alright, let's try to get this in shot for you. So, here we have our power right here. So if you put it, so here we have it. You'll see nearly an open circuit, or nearly a closed loop right there. Open circuit. And then when we turn it off, you can see exceptionally high, so it's basically off. So we'll turn it on right at the beginning of the knob, sort of where I would put it. And let's see what kind of resistance we get. So this would be our left, I think. 9.64K. 9.5. So that's about 150 ohm difference. Not great, but it's okay. Let's put it about halfway, so we're going at 12 o'clock. It was K ohms, right? 8.07. Oh, that's pretty good. That's not bad. See, that portion's not bad. It gets a little better at the halfway mark. Still a bit high, though, but not too bad. Still in the tens, you know. Okay. 3.52. 3.3. Not great. Go all the way up now. It's as high as it goes. It should be nearly linear right here. It should be 1 or so. Okay, 6.3, not bad. You can see the other one. And yeah, 5.0. So that's why it sounds the best at max volume, because it's virtually a short on both ends. Whereas like as soon as you turn it down somewhere like here, near halfway, you start getting into hundreds of ohms. Hundreds of ohms of difference. Oh, what was that? Yeah, that's like 200 right there. That's like 200 ohm difference. And now that's not much, but it's still enough, right? So I think the potentiometer is just bad in general. And I don't even have to take the other one apart to tell you that. So they've used I'm not going to swear. They've used a poor potentiometer for this. The FIO E10K has a better potentiometer than this. I don't know what they've done. They even put it as one of their marketing points that the potentiometer was good. Everything else seems good. Very simple design. Something I noticed was, they got the relays and everything for a nice no-thud startup. I don't see anything for DC offset, but who cares about that, I guess. I don't think that should be a problem. Whatever. I'm not an electrician. I'm not very good at this. But I say as I try to convince you that there's something wrong with this. No, but really, I mean, this is obvious stuff. Like if there's a channel imbalance, they've clearly picked a poor potentiometer. And I mean, the Asgard 2 is better. And I know the Asgard 2 is not a good comparison. That's like a $250 amplifier. But like still, that's old tech. And I've done the trick where like you try to spray a little lubricant, some WD-40 to clean, and then some contact cleaner. And that didn't help at all. Contact cleaner plus WD-40 doesn't. It usually does with most things, but yeah, this is just generally a poor potentiometer. I think it's just generally the tolerances are pretty high. So what I'm going to do to test it out is we're going to bypass the potentiometer. We're just going to put some jumpers here. Probably a real bad idea. We'll keep the potentiometer as a power button because I don't want to build a power button. And we'll put some jumpers here and I'll give it a listen. Turn down my DAC's digital volume, 32-bit, so it should be fine. I shouldn't be losing any resolution there. Well, not significantly. And yeah, I'll get back to you again. All right. Well, I just realized that I can't take the Asgard 2 apart to measure the potentiometer because they are thermally bound to the case because it is such a heated mass of metal that it needs to be thermally conducted through here. So I don't want to remove that glue. Well, whatever it is, it's like a thermal pad or something, thermal adhesive. So I'm just going to put it back together. Sorry, I wanted to make a comparison. I was about to make a comparison and see the difference between the imbalances in this potentiometer and the other one, but... Oh, they're screaming. Okay, turn the volume down. So, as you can see, you heard the headphones yelling their heads off, and it's at bare minimum volume. I've overrode it. You saw it. I overrode the volume, and I haven't put it back together yet, as you see here. I haven't put it back together yet, just to prove to you that this is the one I took apart. Still not back together yet. And yeah, I played a mono track and I've DSP corrected all of my tracks to mono, and I just listened normally for a little bit. And yep, the channel imbalance is completely gone. And it sounds great. It sounds fantastic. I really like this little amplifier. Which brings me to a crossroads. So overall, I really want to recommend the JDS Labs Atom amplifier because it just competes really, really well with a lot of other things and beats most things for that matter. I mean, looking at the mass drop, like I said, the THX AAA 789, the one that they had, and several other AAA technology that THX has come out, it competes nearly directly when they're in single-ended mode, particularly on the mass drop one as the measurements I'm comparing it to. So in that regard, the fact that it's beating an amplifier that most people were considering fairly affordable for how good it was, and now you've got one that's $100 and competes head-to-head in single-ended mode, then I don't see how I can't recommend this enough. However, I can't, because in whole, if it's got, or at least my sample size of 2, if it's got a problem with channel balance, where the right side is consistently louder than the left until you go to max volume, then that's a bit of a problem. Whereas when I talked to John about this over email, and he said that this is strange because he's always used the same potentiometer in most amplifiers that he's had, all the way back to the Objective 2. Now, it's been a really, really, really long time since I've had the Objective 2, and I didn't have the HD800 at that time to try it on. So I don't know whether the Objective 2 had a bit of channel imbalance, and I just didn't notice it. But either way, he said to me that it could be that you're just used to how balanced something like the Asgard 2 potentiometer, the Owl's potentiometer in there is, because a larger potentiometer like that is probably going to have better balance all the way through, whereas this is a significantly smaller potentiometer. And to him, I'd like to say that he's probably exactly right, that something like that, so much larger size, is going to have more precise volume control. And in that regard, I think that he should, or the entire team at JDS should consider making an increment to the Atom amplifier, sort of in the element line or something like that. I know it would be difficult to fit that into the element line, or maybe something along those lines, that would be better in sheer components, and you charge a little more. So instead of the plastic case, you get a nice metal box. you get a better potentiometer, maybe the buttons feel nicer, the connector, the quarter-inch connector is slightly nicer. I don't know. Little things like that would really go a long way for something like this. And it doesn't even necessarily need to significantly improve on performance because they've really hit a really, really great achievement here. So this is a really difficult review for me because it's not as straightforward as, like everyone said, I really recommend this amplifier. I don't think I can necessarily directly recommend this amplifier. I don't know if it's just me who's noticing this and no one else is noticing this and I am just a great superior to everyone else. You know what I mean? Or whether it's just that other people had better units and theirs was good. But the thing is that 2 in a row is pretty unlucky to have the exact same problem, so I feel like it's probably just a tolerance issue in the potentiometer that they're using. And in that regard, I don't know if I can necessarily remember it because it's not an issue that, yeah, sure, you can have the cleanest amplifier in the world, let's say. That's probably not right, but let's just say you do, right, theoretically. But then you have a problem where, well, that great sound is only coming through one channel more than the other. That's not really enjoyable, I feel. And you may say to me, well, it's silly too. It's not that much of a difference, right? It's only like a decibel difference, but that's significant. And if you're in a call with someone, like if you're in an internet call, I don't care what it is, Discord, other platforms, they're all dying. Skype, I guess. If you're in a call with someone, that's mono, and you notice it. You hear their voice coming in from the right, a little more than the left. Maybe yours is inverted, who knows, depending on the tolerance of this volume pot. So I don't think I can recommend this amplifier. I really, really want to. That's why it's hard for me. I really want to recommend this amplifier because it blows almost everything out of the water. It's so good, but I think there's still a room for significant improvement. And so I'm going to have to say hold off on it if you can. If you're getting into it, you might not notice it. Because if you're just listening to stereo music, it's such a small, like it's only a decibel or so, you might not notice it, but it'll drive you insane once now that I've pointed it out. And if you listen to anything in mono and yours happens to have this imbalance, it'll drive you insane. So my recommendation is wait, because John seems really dedicated to this product and in his brand, and I think he's probably going to come out with something that'll go further than this. I really hope he does, at least. Anyways, hope to see something in the future, and I'll see you next time.